No. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back to Shah's lifestyle vlog. Please ignore my daughter in the background. Alright guys, hello and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching this video right here. Going by the title, you already know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about weight loss or weight gain in my circumstance, you know. In my situation, we're talking about weight gain. Okay, so while I'm in the kitchen and we are talking, I'm going to grab my beautiful Isabella right here. If you don't know, I have this rose plant from work. On my last day of work, we were all gifted a plant. I'm not very green fingered, but as you can see, she has definitely grown. However, we do have some rose buds that's wilted, and I am going to try and prune. We've got some that's budding and some that's dead. So I feel like I'm gonna prune her, and I'm just guessing basically how to look after her. But I do know pruning is a factor. You should actually cut the dead leaves and dead roses off in order for the plant to flourish. So yes, that's what I'm going to do while we have a chat. Now, I do not have the proper tools for this here plant because she's my only plant baby. I haven't got another plant baby. All the plants that I have are indeed faux plants, fake plants. Because as I said, I am not green fingered. So we're going to use this scissors. And I know it's a little bit like when you're cutting hair, isn't it? It's a bit like, don't use any old scissors when you cut your hair. Only use hair cutting scissors. I know, but this is all we have, so this is what we're going to have to deal with, okay? Okay, so while I try and cut away at all her bad, I think you're going to cut at an angle, not sure, but I'm going to cut away at all of the dead leaves and so on, in order for her to flourish a bit. And I'm not sure if I'm actually doing this right. I hope I'm not actually damaging her by doing this. I've not done my research, no. I just have a vague idea of how to prune. As I said, my dad was very keen on gardening, so I kind of picked up some things from him, but I'm not very good at it. Let's put it that way. Plants don't normally survive. However, she's lasted, my little Isabella here. She has lasted, you know, and I think I've had her for, I think, about a month now. So yeah, we do have a lot of dead leaves on her, so I'm gonna try and get rid of all of that. Sorry.
I'll wash it later.
I know you'll wash it later. Isn't it always the way when you're filming and then your beloved children decide, so yeah, this is a fantastic time to sort of, you know, get in mother's way. They leave you alone when you can do with the company, you know, with their company. They're like, oh mum, you know, I'm off out. But when you actually want them to leave you alone, they don't, do they? Could we have no music, please? Yes! Can you please turn off that music? Thank you. Thanks. Do you see what I mean? Now that's my third daughter. So in the beginning you saw my middle daughter. Then you saw my last child, my son, just now. And now my eldest. Always, always the way. Anyways, she has a lot of dead leaves, guys. I'm trying not to prick myself here, but I just don't think that this is very healthy for her. So we're going to try and get rid of the leaves that is a bit wilted in order for her to flourish. I would like to bring you down here actually so you can see what I'm doing, but all I'm actually just doing is taking away all the dead debris right here. Trying to get in between there, trying to take all the dead leaves off the soil as well that's dropped into the soil. Anyway, as I was saying, let's get back to the topic at hand, the elephant in the room, so to speak. So, as you know, I upload weekly vlogs, and was it last week? I think it was last week I uploaded a video on, I think it was a Timu haul you would have seen. And in that video, as I was editing, I thought, oh my God, I have gained so much weight. Honestly, when we even when we came back from our holidays, I mean during the holidays, yeah, we ate. We had bacon rolls nearly every morning, bacon, egg and cheese rolls that we made ourselves that I brought there. We obviously indulged and ate out quite a bit, quite a few times. We ate out for dinner. We had a local shop right near our caravan, so we was in and out of that shop like a yo-yo. We were so in and out of that shop that the staff there became quite friendly and familiar with us, which actually, it was very friendly, I have to say. I do think that, you know, that place, we've gone there before, years ago, when Kylan was maybe around 7, 8 years old, and it was always a holiday that we always spoke about, and that's why we went again this year, because we thought, wow, it's been years, but that was a really nice holiday. And it's in Clacton, and it's called St. Osyth's, Merrill Beach, St. Osyth's and Merrill Beach, something like that, park holiday. And honestly, we had such a great time. We had a wonderful time. We really, really, really did. But on having that wonderful time, we also indulged. And to be honest with you, I wasn't counting calories, because I never do anyway. And I wasn't watching my weight. I mean, I'm on holiday. I'm going to wash these things up, because now I need to put Isabel underneath here to give her a bit of water. And my son's probably waiting for me to come out of the kitchen, but I've got a few things to do in here. So I'll just quickly wash them up real quick, what he just brought in. Normally I would leave them for him to do himself, but I'm going to just quickly wash them up because I need the sink right now. Anyway, as I was saying, so we did indulge, okay, and all of us came back a few pounds heavier, okay, and my clothes was fine on the holiday. You know, there was a couple of outfits that I was a bit surprised that, you know, fitted me a little bit too snug. You know, a couple of tops that I hadn't worn for a little while, and they normally come up quite loose, but they came up a bit snug. So I was a bit like, oh, okay. Yeah, so, but I wasn't concerned, you know. I'm not really depressed about my weight or anything such like. It's not making me want to cry or feel depressed, but you know, I've never been this big. This is probably the biggest I've ever been. Well, besides being pregnant with these three, this is the biggest I've ever been. So that is a bit concerning, and obviously I am of a certain age, and I know you have the whole hormone imbalance, you know, you have perimenopause, which I believe I am. I'm not sure if I am. I still have my monthly cycle and stuff, but you know, I have different symptoms that makes me think maybe I am peri, such as the whole insomnia type of situation, you know, the waking up at 3-4 a.m. and not exactly knowing why you're up. Yeah, that I have that that type of situation. Off and on. Sometimes I have, you know, a good night's sleep, but quite often I might wake up at 3-4 a.m. and think, why am I up? I should be actually really knackered, especially if I've done a workout and I've been busy at work and so on. Why am I up at 3-4 a.m.? But anyway, so I know that does take a toll. When you come of a certain age, it's harder for you to lose the weight, and you're more likely to gain weight, especially as a woman in your mid area, you know, your tummy area is bound to happen. But I've put on weight on my thighs, on my arms, on my breasts, on my stomach, on my back, everywhere has put some weight. And yeah, I am not too happy about it. Let's put it that way. I am not too happy about it. Let me just show you all this dead leaves that I just gathered. So we've got all this, guys. yeah, so, you know, obviously I need to do something about this. And I know a lot of people says, oh, you know, just accept it. It's the age that you are, you know, it's your hormone imbalance, it's perimenopause, premenopause, menopause, whatever. But I refuse. I actually refuse to believe that this is my body from now on. Ooh. Water is on a little bit too extreme. Right, we're just going to water Isabel right here, real quick. The first thing I did is water her actually as soon as we walked in the door when we came back a couple of days ago. We got back. Because obviously she's not had a good watering. Right, and there she is. She's watered, a little bit of water, not too much. She's watered, and let's hope I'm really concerned of this rose right here. Where is this little stick thing that I had before? Right, there. I've put that in there to hold that one up a little bit because she looks like she's, you know, gonna collapse over here. So let's turn her around a little bit so that she's gets some sunlight all the way around. Okay, as I was saying, so because all of us has come back, you know, a little bit more heavy, should I say, myself and my older daughter, my youngest daughter has her own little weight plan going on, so she does her own type of meals and so on and so forth for that. But my oldest was saying to me earlier today, actually, that if we cut out the bread, not the bread, but if we cut out some carbs in our diet as far as dinners, such as rice, potatoes, pasta, and we made more of, you know, protein with vegetables, and protein with salad would be a better meal. So where we would normally have a bit of chicken, some vegetables and some rice on the side, instead of having the rice, we'd just have more vegetables and no rice. So, or if we were having chicken, like we don't do no chicken pasta anymore. We're not having mashed potatoes. We do mashed potatoes from fresh, but still we're adding things like milk in there and cheese and so on. On top of that, that is a heavy carb as it is. Unless it's sweet potatoes, we're not going to be buying potatoes as much. So things like rice, pasta and potatoes, we're going to try and cut that out of our daily dinners and see how we go with that. Because I do feel like I stay more on top of my workouts, even though they're home workouts. I do use weights. I do a bit of cardio for half an hour, and a little bit of weights for another half an hour, which makes a whole full hour workout. In fact, I've just done a workout this morning. I did do a workout this morning, which was an hour. Sometimes I can't be bothered to do a whole hour, so sometimes I just do a half an hour cardio, and sometimes I just do a half an hour weights. But sometimes I try and do a little bit of both, so it's an hour. But obviously I keep it low impact, because for my age group it's meant to be less stress, means more low impact movements, because obviously you don't want to lose your muscles are already withering with age. So doing high impact cardio is going to obviously help you lose weight, but with losing weight you're also going to end up losing muscle, and that's just not where it's at. That's not what you want to do. So I do low impact for my cardio, and then I do a little bit of weights. So on saying that though, I feel like as much as I do my workouts and I try and stay on top of that, I'm not really a calorie counting type of person, and I don't really watch what I eat, because I feel like I don't eat out a lot. I don't eat a lot of takeaways. I do cook a lot, and I do eat more at home than outside. And I feel like my meals are not that bad as far as what I'm consuming, but clearly something is not right. So things has to be cut out. So I'm going to cut out rice, pasta, and potatoes out of my evening meals, and I'm also going to cut out bread, but not entirely with the bread. I'm going to have wholemeal bread, but I'll try and cut down on bread. And something else that I have a huge addiction for, and I had an abundance of on the holiday, which you would have seen me pack. If you go and watch my pack with me, I know it's a long video. It's like a live. It's a long one, it's a long video, but if you go and watch the segment, the part where I'm actually packing the food items, you will see that I had an abundance of lattes and cappuccino and skinny lattes and everything, and you'll be surprised in how much sugars are in those coffees right there. And then on top of it we had this Costa coffee. This is almost finished, but this is with salted caramel latte, and it's nearly finished now. We brought it back on from holiday. It's almost finished, but once it's finished I won't be buying any more of this either. And also with the hot chocolate, we bought hot chocolate as well, which you didn't see, but we did bring hot chocolate as well on the holiday. I'm not really one for chocolate or hot chocolate. I'm not really a chocolate person, but yeah, we're going to cut that out and not buy no hot chocolate. I know winter's coming, but we are not going to be buying hot chocolate. On saying that, we're going to be having ourselves a lot more herbals. We're going to have a lot more herbals, and I don't know who keeps doing this. I suspect it's my eldest daughter that keeps doing this, which is driving me up the wall. As well as I bought these, and I don't know how well they work, but I feel like I'm going to give them a whirl, because I did buy them quite a few weeks ago, about 2-3 months ago, and I think I've only taken a bit of them. Yeah, this is how much I've had, and you get this much in the box, and I've got 2 boxes. This box is not being touched at all, so I don't know how beneficial they are, but you know, I'm gonna try and see if I can. They're called Dr. Gut, and they're gonna be really good for your gut health. Yeah, I'm going to start taking these as well. But yeah, my daughter has opened another bedtime tea, which is a bit annoying because we already have a sleep tea opened, so that's a little bit annoying. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my cupboard. I'm going to go into my pantry, because in my pantry I have, sorry, I've just got this so that I can reach up there. In my pantry I have a whole array of why won't this open? In my pantry I have a whole array of herbal teas, so I'm going to be back with the herbals once more, once I can get this legs of my thing up. This is really stiff. Okay, I'm going to see if my son can open that for me. I'll be back. Right guys, managed to figure this out. I'm going to go to my pantry and get some herbals out of there. Yeah. Right guys, I didn't realise what an array of tea bags I have in there, because I did go through a phase, I don't know if you remember, of me trying to sort of drink more herbals, have less coffee, have less teas, and as much as I did start off very, very well, I sort of slipped back into old habits. I did stick to no sugar in my coffees and no sugar in my teas, but I did slip back into having a lot of coffees. So now I want to sort of cut that back, because obviously a high amount of caffeine is not very good for you, as well as with that caffeine I'm also having, as much as we're having oat milk, it's still quite high fat, the milk, so trying to cut a bit of that out as well. So I'm going to have maybe, hopefully try and have one coffee a day in the morning, and then the rest of the day, all through the evening and nighttime, stick with my herbals. So I've got a very berry here, and this one is not very beneficial, but you know, if you just want a herbal. Then I've got a pure chamomile, and all of these are caffeine free. So I got all these I've got boxes and boxes of them from Amazon, in case you're wondering where to get a nice big stack load. So I got a whole load of different arrays on Amazon, and they're all caffeine free. So this is pure chamomile, and I know we've got the sleep tea and the bedtime tea here, and all three, including the chamomile, is really good for you for sleep benefits. But because we've not got a chamomile out there, I'm gonna put one there. Then I have a detox, so that would be good to have, just to have a bit of a detox during the day. And then we've got some peppermint. Peppermint is meant to be, this is again organic and caffeine free, and peppermint is meant to be beneficial in the way of helps you with bloating. And then we have green tea and ginger. Green tea has tons of benefits and I can't stand it, but this one has got ginger with it, and I've not given this a go yet, so this might be nicer. Then we have turmeric, and turmeric again is meant to be very beneficial as far as weight loss, such as bloating and so forth. It's quite a good natural cleanser in that way. So as you can see, I have all the things. I have all the things that I need. Now let me see, how does this come? Oh, this one comes a little different actually. I'll have to read this one. Comes like this, and it's got this little thing on it. So I feel like it says 100 tea bags though. But why would you need this? I don't know. Let's open it and find out, shall we? I suppose just so that you can, it's just something to pick out your tea bags with out of your cup, which I've got one of those. They're actually very handy for tea. Where's my one? I've got this. So I'm guessing that's what this is, because these are actual bags. So yeah, it's very strong, but yeah, this is the bag, so it's an actual bag. So yeah, this is just to pick it out of your cup, I guess. But yeah, this is a whole box of them, so I'm going to just have the whole box out. Yeah, I'm going to just leave it in the box so everyone knows that it's turmeric and ginger, because it actually does not say. It says hand-picked garden fresh tea on the bag itself, but it is actually turmeric and ginger. So yeah, Also, guys, I've been, let me just, pardon? You talking to me? Let me just get something. 1 second. So guys, this is my diary. It says notes on it, but I use it as a diary. Okay. It's my diary basically. Not going to show you that. It's just my personal thoughts. This is my diary, and a good thing of journaling is it's really a good de-stressor to sort of write your thoughts down on paper. Now, I do use my journal, and I use it as often as I can really, but I'm not a daily, I don't journal daily. So I'm going to get back into doing my journaling. I've not written in this for a couple of weeks now, so I'm going to catch up and write in my journal. But as I said, I don't write in this daily. I write maybe every once a week or so. I will journal, and that's just my thoughts and what's gone on in the week and things that I would like to do and achieve, and things such like what's going on in the family and what we've done. So I'll probably write about our holiday and what a fantastic time we had, and take it from there, and the fact that I'm back on my weight loss journey. And then here I started writing this today, but I have written, let me move the pen, I do keep up with this quite a bit, as you can see. I do write in this quite a bit. That's more for my weight loss. This is called a daily fitness and tracker. And in here I write down what I've eaten, and sometimes I'll weigh myself. It's got somewhere to put your weight, and it's got somewhere what you ate for lunch, dinner, breakfast, extra notes, additional notes, what exercise you did that day, what obviously the date and the time and the day and so on, the time you woke up, and so on and so on. It's also got like how much glasses of water you drank. You can cross off the little water drops there and so on. So I do use this quite frequently, and I do have another one for when this one finishes, but I stopped for a couple of weeks now. I think the last time I used this was on the 4th, the 4th of this month. And I stopped writing what I eat though. I was only writing that I had a coffee for breakfast, for example, but I wasn't writing everything of what I eat and so on. And that's meant to be really beneficial to write down, physically write what you eat. When you can physically see it on paper, it triggers something in the brain for you to sort of keep on track of things. And I learned this by going to Slimming World. I say this while I have a Slimming World book, which my manager, I'm covering her name, my manager actually gave me this Slim World street food book. She's She's quite significantly bigger than me, bless her. And she eats McDonald's breakfast nearly every morning on her way to work. She will grab herself a McDonald's breakfast, and she does not stop telling me, oh, at weight loss at Slimming World, because she goes to obviously her neighborhood Slimming World on a Thursday. I lost a pound this week. I lost £2 this week. I gained a pound this week. And whenever she loses, she'll say to me, you see, Charlene, why did you not stick to going to Slimming World? Because I used to go to Slimming World and I loved going, but the time was a bit inconvenient, and as much as there was a lot of lovely ladies in my age group, and it was a lovely group, very diverse, you know, very community feel, I just felt like the day and the time was a bit much for me, so I couldn't always make it there. And then actually I was doing really well, but then came a time where I went to pay for another bulk session, because you can do 5 or 10. So I was getting paid, and so I come to the very lovely lady at the desk, a sweet old lady, and she's very nice. And I said to her, oh, I'd like to put another block of 10 please on my card. And she said, well, no dear, you still have 3 more classes to go through, and then you can. And I was like, oh, so I can't just do it in advance while I can? She's like, I'm really sorry, but no. But on the last week, on the last week of your bulk, then you can. And that's what made me stop. That's how I ended up stopping, because obviously that week that I had my last week, I then did not have the funds to pay for my 10 block week, because I had spent it going shopping and doing other things. I think my son's birthday was coming up around that time, so I was planning for his birthday and I had spent it on other things. And I thought, if only she let me pay for it when I had the cash on me, I had my bank card on me, then I would have actually still be there continuing. But it's not her fault at all. I guess it's just policy. I guess they're seeing it as they don't want people to pay in advance and then suddenly they don't want to come anymore, so they now want a refund. I get that, but yeah, that's where I ended up stopping. And my manager does not seem to want to drop the subject. It's like, oh, Charlene. She's like, oh,
she makes a joke though.
It's your Slimming World today. Oh yeah, you quit, didn't you? Quitter. And I'm like, if you don't, we're gonna have a really bad falling out, Jane. If you don't stop. It's all in good banter though. Right, so I'm gonna put all of this in here, okay, so that we have an array, an abundance, and a big choice of teas in this cupboard. I'm gonna put my, I need to put my I have to put my, what are these? My vitamins, yeah. I have to put them in a location, however. I might put them over here. Yeah, I'll see how that does for now. I can see my daughter saying, "Oh mum, why is your vitamins there? It's so in the way when I want to put on the kettle." That's where it's going to stay for now. Anyway guys, I'm going to go ahead and do some journaling, and also I've already written in this today. Yeah, I've already done what I needed to do today. I've already done my workout. I've done an hour workout. I've not had anything to eat. I've had 2 coffees, which is really bad. So I'm going to actually have a herbal right now, and I'm going to finish my bottle of water here as well. And that should tide me over for now. Yeah. All right then, that's it guys. That's the end of my, let me move my little stool right here. Got this little stepping stool. I'm gonna end my little vloggy vlog and my little weight loss. Well, it wasn't really a rant, was it? But my little weight loss journey situation. I'm going to keep you updated as to, you know, how it's going. And I just feel like this might be more of a, okay, this is not working with me again, so I'll do that off camera. Yeah, I feel like my channel going forward is going to be less about hauls, and it may be more about weight loss and budgeting. They're the 2 things that I need to work on. Budgeting, financial budgeting I'm talking about, and savings, and weight loss. They're the 2 things. By the way, with my savings and budgeting, that's another story altogether. I would like to personally move as soon as possible out of the city, but that's another story for another day. So I will keep you posted on what I'm planning or thinking of there once I have that more together, which is going to be way further down the line, maybe next year, maybe even the year after. I do plan to move out of the city permanently. So anyway, that is all, and I'm going to go now and have my herbal. Which one should we have? Let's have a detox. I'm gonna have a detox and yeah, go and relax for a minute. Okay guys, so stay safe, be safe, and as always, peace guys. Until the next one, please stay tuned for my weight loss journey, and hopefully in the very near future, me talking about my savings and plans to move out of the city. Okay guys, stay safe, be safe, and peace. Bye guys.